welcome back to Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann, and it is time for a little bit more play in our Dephemerember 2025 challenge. So this is my journal that I put together. The challenge itself is actually just to make ephemera. I like to use the prompts to create things to decorate pages in my Christmas journal. And it's already getting a bit chunky, and we're only on day 8. But without further ado, let's go ahead and flip to the page that I have picked out. So lots of places still to work. I'm going to be honest, I am filming these a little ahead of December so that I can stay on top of posting on the actual due date. So what that means is that in some cases there are pages that are done, like this. In other cases there are pages that will be journaled on once December starts. And I also have these little labels to kind of placeholder where I think I might want to create something. So here we are at the prompt list, and you can see that day 8 is in fact snippets and grandma's buttons. And so I keep going to find the page that I'm looking for. Oh, this was the last prompt that I did for day 5. And I realized after the video was all put together that I had forgotten to put the number on. So I did go back and add that for this particular prompt. And this one I'm going to do is in actually the second signature. I think this is the first one in the signature. And here is the page that I'm going to use. I really truly am treating this like a ephemera challenge, so I'm just gonna make something to give some oomph to this page, and then I can come back later and journal on it. Now the prompt was for snippets and grandma's buttons, and I actually do have a little collection here of buttons that were in my grandmother's sewing basket. And so I'm going to be using, I thought about using the packaging to make a little bit of a tab, but I want to do this page and the colors are wrong. So I'm just going to take one of these buttons. I think I'm going to use this one because it still has, if you can see, it still has some of the thread in it. And I love that, so this one, the thread came out. So tuck those away. And so that's gonna be grandma's button part of the prompt. And then for the snippets part of the prompt, I have a couple of things. I wanted to stay fairly neutral here. These are just 2 images that I found from a magazine that I thought would be fun to decorate a page with. So I want to do something with these as little snipped out images. And then I also have this little bit of lace, and the pattern on the lace kind of reminds me of the patterning on these little images. Maybe you can see that a little more clearly. So I don't know, they just felt reminiscent. And then I also have this piece of burlap, and I thought this could also be something to snip and use a bit of. So these are my starting points, and we'll see what else I decide to do after that. So the first thing I need to do is cut these out. So I'm gonna go ahead and tackle that first. I am going to cut and leave just a little bit of the background on the image. I like to do that because I think, 1, it adds a little bit of interest. 2, it hides my sometimes not the absolute best sewing or cutting, And then also, I think it helps the image to pop against the page. So by making just a little bit of an outline. So yeah, so that is so cute. And then this is on the edge of the page, and I'm actually okay with that. It just means I'll probably put it on an edge of this page. But first I need to cut it out. And I really love using magazine images in my junk journals. You know, we read magazines, we see the pictures, we see the images, and I don't know, to me they're like eye candy. And if I can take them out and repurpose them in my own journals, I feel as though that it gives me you know, a special bit of something that is incredibly visually appealing. And since I've already paid for the magazine and, you know, gotten the enjoyment out of the magazine, they feel a little bit like, you know, free stuff for my stash. Now, one thing I was thinking about with this, as I was trying to decide what snippets in my Christmas stash I was going to use, one thing that I did think about was the fact that this background is pink, and there's not really any pink on this page, but I decided that there was this red here, and that it made enough sense that I could go ahead and use it. And who knows, maybe this page will end up being a little bit pink as well. In fact, as I'm thinking about it, I have some washi here on my desk that is a really pretty pale pink. So maybe I'll use a bit of this as well in my page. Okay, so I've got these pieces here and of course the burlap. So now thinking about what I might do, let's get this off. So I certainly could put this here, and I like that, but I also wonder what would happen if I put it on here. Oh, and let it just maybe peek off onto that page just a little bit. That's kind of fun, actually. And maybe the button could just fit right there. That really kind of connects. I like that. Not sure what this means for the Christmas tree. Maybe that I'm not going to use it. I'm not sure. This piece of lace is just, I just think it's so pretty. So I'm wondering if I could put that behind here, and that's really lovely. I don't know that I need the burlap. Let me cut a little bit off here and make some strings, and then weird little extra bit of something, and then if that were to, I sort of really like the contrast of the burlap and the lace. That's really pretty, and also sort of the monotone nature of this. I'm just gonna go with that. I'll find another place for that Christmas tree. I am going to tear off a little bit of this washi as well, and this particular washi is backed. So, and just maybe tear it a little bit at an angle and put that there just for another layer. Yeah, I like that. This is always the challenging part. Oh my goodness gracious. There we go. Okay. I'm not super concerned about it being up at the top, but I do want to make sure that it, oh, that's super pretty with that page. Okay, now I need to get this gathered and I think right about there. So I think I'm gonna put the glue, goodness, the lid is sticking to my hands. I think I'm gonna, so this is Fabric Tack glue. And I'm gonna run a good amount there and then some there. Okay, and then this here and here and here. And then maybe a little bit more. Under there, like that. Okay. I'm just gonna let that sit for a bit. Now, because I'm putting it on here, I now feel like this is gonna be too flimsy. And so I need to strengthen this a bit. So I'm gonna just use this, I'm gonna glue this on here and then recut it out so that it's a little bit sturdier. So I think for this, I will use oh no. Okay. And then I'm going to trim this again. Would have been easier if I had glued this down first, but I didn't realize I needed the bulk for the stability. And I try not to add extra bulk unless I really need to, just because all of the items that I add in end up creating so much additional bulk. Not sure what I did there. Okay. And then a little snippet there. All right. Now, because I have now backed this with this cream card, I do want to use, and again, I'm going to use my vintage photo distressed oxide just to tone down the cream edges a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right, and then that. And then do I want, and let's go ahead and, this is the way the button's supposed to be. This is upside down. Let's go ahead and add the glue here. And so then the question is, do I leave this or do I add the little bit of burlap? I think I do need to add that little bit of burlap. All right, so since I'm gonna do that, let me just come under here just to give it a little bit of stability with that. And then where do I want this? I think like that. I don't really want it overlapping the edge too much. All right. Then go along here, add a little bit more there. That there. That's so cute. And then because I'm going to glue this onto the fabric, I'm going to use, I don't normally use fabric glue to glue paper, but since I'm attaching it to the fabric,
Cold out there tonight. 36 degrees according to the car.
Ooh, yuck. Okay. All right. And then, oh no, the glue seep through the buttonhole. That wasn't part of the plan. Okay. And then here. There, I like that. It's super pretty. And I think it just needs a little bit of something extra. So I think what I'm going to do is take this that under there. Yeah, I sort of like that. Oops, that's not my favorite glue though. Well, glue. Put that there. All right. Again, probably a little more bulk than I had intended. And I do think also I want to put a little bit more under here. And to attach that down. Okay. There we go. Maybe that's a little too far. I like the string, but not that much. Okay, so that's day 8. All right, and then I need a number. So I have these Scrabble sheets. So I think I'm going to use this one. Just going to put it down there. All right. Want a little bit of sparkle. Gonna see if I can do this here. I kind of want to prop that up a bit. So I'm going to use champagne gold and just on the, I definitely should have done this before I put this on here, but yeah. Sprinkle a little more carefully than I normally do. And a little more sparkle maybe than I had originally planned. For sure. So some of that'll fall out, but yeah, I think that was just what it needed. Clean up my mess a little bit here.